And this slide really is reflecting on another lawsuit to which Ohio is enjoined. This case is called the State of Nebraska et al. Along the same principles. The plaintiffs, which our Attorney General has included, taken the steps necessary to include Ohio as one of the plaintiffs, who were challenging the constitutionality of a regulation promulgated by the federal government which would coerce religious organizations, institutions, care providers, outreach groups, social service agencies, among others, to directly subsidize contraception, abortifacients, sterilizations, and related services that are in contravention with their religious beliefs. Now, I want to also mention another group that's been affected by this. I don't believe their case is going to be heard next week along with the Green case. But this is an organization in Massachusetts called the Little Sisters of the Poor. Have you heard of them? They've been around for almost 200 years. They take care of the needy who are elderly. And they are being asked to sign forms that give consent to their insurance providers to pay for the abortifacients. And we're talking nuns. And you're asking them to sign a paper that would be a direct violation of, obviously, of their sincerely held religious beliefs. So this is a case that needs to be watched because the federal government, for whatever purpose it is, this is just one issue, but it's indicative of a government that is taking steps to assert its authority over our constitutional liberties. And Rob was right. Article 1 is the answer. Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution is the answer. We have a Congress that is not exercising its duties in terms of reining in the executive branch, not exercising its duties in terms of reining in the judicial branch by limiting the types of cases that could make its way to the Supreme Court. We're losing a lot of long-standing protections in case law because of what's going on in the federal branch, the federal court system. So the answer is getting the right people in the room within the walls of Congress. Because even though there's a balance of power and we're supposed to have co-equal branches, they were very wise when they structured the Constitution to give the People's House authority to hold the other branches of government accountable. That's what I wanted to focus on this evening, was this one point. I would be glad to take any questions that you may have on this issue, or really any other thing in Obamacare.
You know, I wanted to share that I left some books in the back, and again, Melanie's going to take some questions on the legislation. I also brought 10 or 15 CDs. The lawyer for Hobby Lobby is named Adele Kime. We had the opportunity to interview her on a Public Square radio broadcast. So if you aren't able to grab a CD tonight, I encourage you to visit aproundtable.org. Look under the Public Square archives. It was from August of this year, or last year, August of 2013. It's an interview with Adele Kime, Hobby Lobby's lawyer, and it will give you an in-depth look. A lot of the things Melanie talked about, but in that broadcast we break it down so you're able to understand what exactly we're talking about. Because again, we need to be talking to our friends, our neighbors, and everybody about this so they understand. Any questions on the legislation regarding this or any other pieces and parts? Yes, sir.
The abortifacients, is that just the morning after pill, or does that include early abortion?
It's whatever the FDA would approve. So right now it includes sterilizations, it includes the abortifacients with the morning after and the week after pill, the Ella pill. We don't know what is yet to be developed in the pharmaceutical industry that the FDA would approve. So this is kind of a blank check moving forward in terms of what the employers would have to pay for. And the Green family, like I said, is one of There are a lot of cases with a lot more employers that are standing up, Christian employers are standing up and saying, no, we're not going to do this. Oh, I wanted to mention too, I forgot to mention, that the penalty that would be imposed on Hobby Lobby, the HHS mandate requires a family-owned business to provide insurance coverage for the morning after pill and the week after pill contrary to their religious convictions, or pay up to $1.3 million per day in fines. Per day in fines. It would drive them out of business. So they literally have to pay for what they vehemently disagree with based on their sincerely held religious perspectives and beliefs, or give up their family business. That's not right. And it doesn't even matter if you agree with the abortion issue or not. It's not right.
Setting up a dictatorship.
Regardless of, it could be for a different reason. It could be for a religious belief that I would not agree with. It's still not right, because that is protected under the U.S. Constitution, yes.
You know, this is just one of so many things that we are educated on. Is there a... You stand up and... Oh, stand up.
And I'll be glad to repeat the question too, for
All right,
those who can't hear.
This is one of so many that all of us hear on practically on a daily basis that is incredibly disturbing. Is there an action plan as far as what, like not just us being educated, but what we can actively do collectively in this matter? Like who do we call? What do we do? Who do we write? Do we, what is our part in this, so we can make a difference and not just be educated?
Well, it's a very practical question. Her question, if you didn't hear it, is what can we do beyond just becoming educated? What can we do from a practical standpoint to fix this, if I'm paraphrasing you correctly? You were right, actually. I think you were the speaker before that said, I've got to do more than just vote. We voting for Congress, not skipping that ballot. Voting the right people in the room in Congress. We're 501c3. We are affiliated with a PAC, but we're here tonight as a 501c3, so we're not going to tell you who to vote for. But we do need for you to get engaged. We can generally encourage you to not just engage yourselves. And for those of you who can't walk door to door, you can make phone calls. You can encourage any able-bodied person to go door to door. Campaigns are desperate for a ground game. The people who win not only have the high-tech skills that Rob was referring to earlier, but they have a ground game. And it's more than just knowing who to vote for yourselves personally. We've got to get involved in the congressional campaigns.
Yes. Sorry, I'm going to jump in and add to that if I may. One of the things that's always said, and I'll use the term the other side, and I hate using that term, but I will. One of the things the other side always says is, what's your alternative? What's your suggestion? Well, there was a lot of people, and I know the roundtable, we came forth with a plan. It was called a healthier plan. It was a healthcare plan. We were one of the people that said, listen, the healthcare system is broke. It needs tweaked a little bit. It needs fixed. There's some problems, but this isn't the way to do it. Not 2,500 pages rammed down people's throats. So we came up with a plan. We're not going to be able, in all honesty, you can't fix this. The only way it's going to be fixed is to be repealed. And to repeal it, you're going to have to change Congress. That's what it's going to take. You're going to have to change the players in Congress. Again, all these delays we feel are unconstitutional and can't be done. And I always said, like I mentioned, I had dinner with my friend earlier, I always said, what happens if the next president says, let's just delay it to 2150, it's not going to work anyway. I wouldn't be for that either, because that's not constitutional. But we have to, Congress needs to be replaced, and that's the only way, that's how we got into this mess.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And they have passed the bills on the House side. Part of Congress is the other chamber. The Senate side, we can't get anything moved through the Senate at the moment. That is a bigger problem. Yes, sir.
A lot of people vote in the regular election, but I think the primary elections are more important in some cases.
So they're sifting the chaff from the wheat, so to speak. Yes, I agree. Yes, sir.
You made a comment before while you were talking about this law that Congress had written basically to hand over authority to HHS to write the law. Conceivably, if we have the wrong congressman, or they could write this kind of law for every type of legislation, and